3,000 years you have to make a float with my image. No, he never said anything like that. But we need these things. And once they're beautiful, they're not harmful. So let's keep them. But if someone asks you, say, because we like that, and it's beautiful. Okay, there's no other explanation. We like these things and they're beautiful. And they make us feel good. Only because of that. More questions? Yes.
Listening of birds, though, during Wesak.
Listen to?
No, let go of the birds. Pigeon, doves. Free life. Let go the birds.
That's very much Chinese.
Let go the birds.
I've never heard of any special meaning for listening to birds during any day in Buddhism. Of course, listening to birds is nice, depending on the bird. If that's kohong, it's very boring. But
it means releasing the bird.
Releasing the bird. I heard listening to the bird. This is what I don't understand. Releasing the birds, setting birds free. This is something we should not encourage, because that's cruelty. That's a big, big cruelty, and there's nothing related to Buddhism. Absolutely nothing. The opposite. You go to Thailand and Laos, Theravada countries, and you see those people that they intentionally stay outside the temple by the gate with very, very tiny cages, sometimes with 3, 4 birds, really cramped inside the tiny cages, waiting for compassionate Buddhists to buy the cages to release the birds. And then what happens? They make more money, and tomorrow they're again with more birds. And they don't feed the birds, they don't give water to the birds. The birds are really cramped inside the cages, waiting for stupid, compassionate Buddhists to buy the cages and release the birds. And they take the birds, they catch the birds in the forest and take the birds inside Bangkok. And then you buy the birds in Bangkok and release birds that come from the forest. You release them inside the big city, and they probably die in less than 1 day, because they cannot not find food or water, not shelter. They're stressed. They're in a very wild and dangerous environment they have never been before. So there's nothing compassionate or meritorious or beneficial in doing this kind of things. The opposite. Maybe if no one would never buy the cages, they would try something better than something very coward, like caging birds from nature to sell them like slaves by the temples. This is a very, very bad karma they make. And we should not support this kind of bad karma, because we're not helping the birds, we're helping someone to commit cruelty against nature and against the birds. The Buddha would never approve such kind of thing.
What's the actual meaning of this religion?
Stupidity.
It's going on
From both sides. Yes.
But the Mahayanas, they're practicing this most of the time during the recent devotees. So what have you had what to say to them?
Stupidity. Any Mahayana, Theravada, or any kind of tradition, it's the same stupidity. I'm very frank, I talk very openly. No, you should keep because it comes from ancient China. I don't know where it comes from. It's cruelty and stupidity. Cruelty from whoever catches the birds to sell them, and stupidity from whoever thinks that it's practicing good karma by releasing the birds, because it's not. It's not good karma at all. You're helping someone to practice cruelty. And you're releasing the birds from the forest inside a big city. The birds will never be happy. They were probably separated from the flock, from their group, from their environment, from everything they knew, to spend 1 or 2 days suffering, hungry and thirsty inside a cage, waiting for someone stupid to release them inside danger. There's no point in doing that. It cannot possibly be good karma, no matter what tradition it is. Okay? I hope it's very clear. Do not support this kind of activity, because it's cruelty and bad karma also for you from the moment you know you're wrong. If you did that without any advice, with thinking that you're committing good karma, okay, it was not so bad. But once you know this is wrong, and you do that, you're both committing bad karma. The one that cages the birds and the one that buys the birds to set them free. Okay? This is very serious. The Buddha would never, never agree with something like that. More questions? Yes, sister.
People rearing fish as pets, is that bad karma as well?
It depends on the kind of fish. Like these carps, the golden fish that were born in tanks. It's not bad karma, because if you release them into the wild, they are not going to survive. Actually, animal behavior is very strange. Once I found a very, very tiny tortoise in Taiwan. In the Mahayana Temple I studied, there was a very big tortoise pond with a huge image of Kuan Yin in the middle of the pond. And I found near the classroom, very far from the pond, a tiny tortoise. And I said, "Oh, you cute baby," talking to the tortoise, "don't worry, I'll take you back home." And I took the tortoise to the pond. It was as tiny as this. Very, very tiny tortoise baby. And I took it to the pond, and at the moment I released it into the water, a huge one came from down the pond. In one single bite, it swallowed it up. And I was just like, it was not my intention, you know. But stupid me, I released the tortoise straight into the mouth of the huge one. So sometimes we try to help animals according to our mind, according to our understanding about happiness and suffering and things like that. Maybe if I had left the tortoise alone, it would find its own way to survive. But because I decided to do expressway, AirAsia, flying it into the pond, it just died. So releasing these goldfish into the wild, the ones that live in the pond or in the river or on the sea, they will kill the fish, because they were born in the fish tanks. Now it's too late to try to change them. Now it's too late. They were born in the fish tank, and their lives is inside the fish tank. It's like those canary birds. They sing very, very beautifully. It's been more than 200 years that none of them is born in nature. They've been caged birds for more than 200 years. So if you open the cage and release one of them, goodbye. Will pass away on the same day. So we have to be very, very careful when we make decisions.